I'm fast approaching 500 nights now with the 8 Sleep system. First, the 8 Sleep Pod 3 cover, and more recently, the 8 Sleep Pod 4 cover. The Pod 4 system arrived at my back door. I was a little bit apprehensive because the Pod 3 system is so good, I wasn't really sure where the Pod 4 could go. Now I know, mostly great, a little bit not so much. Let's get cracking. How does it work? Well, you have the hub by your bed, and on your bed you have the mattress cover, the Pod 4 cover. If you sleep alone, it creates one big zone. If you sleep with a partner, you create 2 zones, and you can control the temperature of each zone, which is where it can really come into its own if you like to sleep at different temperatures to your partner. It pushes hot or cold water through the Pod 4 cover throughout the night to regulate your temperature while you're sleeping. You can either have it in Fahrenheit, Celsius, or I just have -10 to +10. It also has an autopilot feature which makes micro adjustments throughout the night to keep your sleep optimal, and it also detects snoring. And as somebody who prides himself on not snoring, I was disappointed to find out that I do a little bit. And even if you were to keep the setting on 0, which may sound like it doesn't do much, it would have quite a good effect, because when you're in bed, if you think about it, your mattress is directing body heat back to you, and so is your duvet. So if you want to keep your temperature neutral, having it on 0 would mean that it would work just to keep you at that neutral temperature throughout the night. But the most important thing is, how do we sleep? And the answer is, in short, is it's excellent. I was probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10 sleeper, so not horrendous, not amazing. Well, let me show you my figures now. Here are my settings within the app. So when I go to bed, I have it set to -5. It then goes to -3, -1, and then it wakes up with a vibration alarm, which I'll talk about later. If I look at my wife's settings, then hers are slightly different to mine. So she prefers it to be -2 at bedtime, and then during the night, it suits her. She goes to +1. And then she goes to -2, and then she doesn't have an alarm on her side because I have, and I wake her up. But interesting, when I look at this +1 figure here, I can see that for a 48-year-old female in England, I think she's only 47. Anyway, that 45% of members actually find this temperature comfortable. So that's interesting. And if I look at my setting here, I can see that members like me find -3 comfortable. So that's 32% of 50-year-old men in England find this temperature comfortable. Actually, most of them, though, find it closer to 0 more comfortable. I doubt not many members find, so hot sleepers find -5 at bedtime comfortable. It is quite a cold setting. It's a typical week for me, and you can see that, let's start with Sunday. So on the Sunday, I was getting 93% for quality and 100% for routine. And you can see things like my sleep stages here. You can see health metrics, such as my heart rate. Now, it was slightly higher than usual. My HRV was slightly lower, and my breath rate was slightly higher. And that was because I had an alcoholic drink on the Saturday. And I've not drunk for a long time, and it does seem to have a big effect on me. Monday, 100% for routine and quality, and these figures should look, there we are. So my figures there are all in range. If I look at Tuesday, 100%. What happened Wednesday? I can't remember, but 95% for routine. If I look at Thursday, 80% for routine. Let's just have a little look. So I can see here that my routine kind of dropped off Thursday. So I probably went to sleep either later or earlier than normal. Friday, 100% for both quality and routine, and Saturday was 94 a night, so fair. So it's saying time slept 6 hours 44. I mean, it's probably, there we are. So I went to bed 30 minutes later than normal. So my wife hates being on camera, but let's just see if we can get her opinion. There she is. So here she is. You don't like this, do you?
No, Steve, I don't.
So before the 8 sleep, how did you sleep?
Terribly.
On a scale of 1 to 10, would you say?
It was ranging really from 1 to 3, I would say.
And I know you thought it was a bit of a gimmick when I got it.
Yeah, there was a lot of resistance to that.
There was a lot of resistance, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And how do you find it now?
Really good.
It's hard for you to say that.
It really pains me to say that, but I do find it really good. I like the temperature regulation.
Last question then.
Go on then.
How do you find the Pod 3 compared to the Pod 4?
I like the Pod 4 better.
Is there any particular reason?
I just feel it works better. I find the difference in temperature is more evident.
You've done an amazing job.
Thank you. I'll get back to work now.
And there's one more person I'm going to ask, which is my daughter, who has our old Pod 3. It's a summer holiday, she's going to be asleep. How's the Pod 3?
Good.
Yeah, but what's good about it? What do you like about it?
It's good. Leave me alone.
Yeah, but if you could say one thing...
It's good.
Just it's good. It's 10:30 a.m. That's just modern youth for you. I think I'm probably on my 27th paper round at that age and just about ready for my shift down the coal mine. On a serious note, the lack of quality sleep can be, I mean, really quite awful. And I've not shared this before, but my wife did really struggle with sleep. And if you want to effectively torture somebody, I can kind of attest as a witness that depriving them of sleep is probably a really good way to do that. Pleased to say her sleep looks more like this. She had a big night Saturday, Monday 89%, Tuesday 93, Wednesday 100, Thursday 96, Friday 100 again, and Saturday 98. So much better. Now there are a couple of downsides, and one of them's hardware, which I guess can't be fixed, and one of them's software, which I think 8 Sleep will change at some point. Now, that with the hardware feature, my only gripe, because the cooling and heating is excellent, it's very comfortable to sleep on. It doesn't, unlike the first generation of the Pod 3, there were 2 generations of the Pod 3 at least. The first generation really firmed your mattress up. The second generation felt like there was nothing on there, so it didn't change the comfort of your mattress at all. With the Pod 4, it adds a layer of plushness. So your mattress will be as soft or hard as it was before. It will just feel a little bit more like a hotel bed, for instance, with a little layer of plushness on the top. I would like to see cooling under the pillow so that when you flip the pillow, it's really cold when you turn it over. Maybe that's for a future iteration. And the second one is software based. Right up until when we got the Pod 4, I had a smart speaker, I won't say her name, or my phone waking us up in the morning. And no matter how hard I try, I couldn't find a wake up alarm that would gently wake us up and bring us into consciousness. The 8 Sleep has 2 alarms. On the Pod 3, I didn't really use them that often. One is a thermal alarm, so it changes the temperature of the bed to wake you up. Now, the one that gently warms the bed to wake you up, I think they imagine you're going to look like a glazed donut when you wake up, looking like a princess. I just look like a piece of fried chicken. The other alarm is a vibration alarm, which we didn't use either, because you have to then find your phone with your bed vibrating to turn the vibration alarm off. This has changed. We use the vibration alarm a lot. And how that works is that gently vibrates your side of the bed to kind of bring you into consciousness. And it's very accurate. So mine's set for 6 a.m. It has woken me up naturally, with the feeling of being naturally woken up by 6:01. So it's very good at waking you up. You can adjust the intensity. But where the Pod 4 actually, its strength is that you can tap the side of the bed and that will turn the alarm off. You haven't got to find your phone to turn the alarm off. This is a really good feature and I really, really like it. The downside of the alarm though, is when I tap the bed to turn the alarm off, I then like to sit in bed. I mean, I know Andrew Huberman's out there looking in directly at the sun. I'm not. I want to drink coffee in bed. I want to do the Wordle. I want to do the mini crossword because I can't do the big one. And I want to do the connections. And I want to catch up with the news. But my bed turns off. So when you tap the alarm to turn the alarm off, it also turns the bed off. So I then have to manually turn it back on and then remember to turn it off again when I get out of bed. Otherwise it'll be on all day. These are first world problems, I know. The next potential downside for some people is a subscription. I don't mind a subscription. I have subscriptions for Netflix and Disney, neither of which I watch. I have a subscription for my Nordic Track treadmill, which covers my treadmill, my bike, and also my rowing machine. I'm okay with subscriptions. The reason being is I want new content from these devices and I want software updates on my hardware, such as my treadmill or my bike, to make it get better the longer I own it. So the subscription with the 8 Sleep works out about 50 cents a day. I mean, I'm all right with it because I sleep better. So it's kind of like, it's nothing really for the benefits it gives me. But if you don't like subscriptions, that might be a consideration for you. Now, 8 Sleep do say that after the first year, you can cancel the subscription. So after the first year, you can just have the basic features, you lose autopilot, and I think a lot of the data reporting, but you might be in a position at that point where you think, you don't actually need that. You might be getting them from somewhere else, such as your Whoop or your Apple Watch. So that might be an option for you. My personal thoughts are that once you've used the autopilot and you've got all this data coming to you, it would be hard to kind of just give that up after a year. And at this point, I want to say, if you're thinking about buying an 8 Sleep Pod 4, then I'll put a link in the description. That takes you to 8 Sleep's website. There should be a discount there. In addition to that, I'm going to put a stackable discount code in there as well. So that means whatever price is on the link in the description, where it says coupon code, put a coupon code in and you'll get an extra $50 off your purchase as well. That also helps support the channel, which is greatly appreciated. And so is hitting the like button if you're enjoying this video. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. The next thing I want to talk about is noise. And I'm noise sensitive. I couldn't sleep in a room with a fan on, for instance. With the 8 Sleep Pod 4, it's either silent, as in you can't hear it, unless you put your head right on the machine. And bearing in mind it's fairly close, it's less than a meter away from the pillows. You either can't hear it or it's barely audible. And with the sound it makes, it has 2 fans on the back, and these aren't working particularly hard. The Pod 3 had 1 fan and it wasn't quite as big, so you could hear that more than the Pod 4. With the Pod 4, 2 big fans working less, so it's even quieter. In addition to that, if it is making a noise, it's very much like a light hum, and it's not noticeable. And if anything, I would say it goes as far as being quite soothing. In conclusion, and you can probably tell, we had a Pod 3, we love that. We have a Pod 4, we love that even more. And you spend a third of your time in bed, don't you? And when I buy an exercise bike, if it's £2,000, that's a big commitment for me, but I can see the benefit. If I buy a treadmill, my Nordic Track 2450 was nearly £3,000. But I know that if I use them, I get fitter and I feel better. In hindsight, I would say that sleep is more important. If I was starting again, I would potentially get an 8 Sleep Pod 4 before I bought those other fitness devices, because everything comes off the back of good sleep. You can perform a lot better in your work, in your family life, and also exercising if you're getting proper rest. We've found that this has greatly improved our ability to get good sleep, and you've seen my wife's figures as well. If you're still on the fence, then feel free to watch some of my Pod 3 videos as well. They do have a really good money back guarantee, and as I've mentioned, I'll put a link in the description which will then take you to their site. There should be a discount there in addition to the coupon code, which gives you another $50 off. If you want to watch more on the Pod 4, especially the setup, then watch this video here. And until next time, see you soon.